Welcome to Beyond the Title, a podcast where we interview college deans from the University of Cincinnati. My name is Hayden, and my co-host is the interim provost of UC, Dr. John Winder.
Hayden.
Our topics range from deans when they were college students to why they decided to become deans and much more. Today's guest is Lisa Huffman, Dean of the College of Education, Criminal Justice, Human Services, and Information Technology, CECHIT. Welcome, Dean Huffman.
Good morning.
There are 4 rounds of questions, with the first rapid-fire warm-up round. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Quick fire, coffee or tea?
Tea.
Morning or night?
All day.
Cats or
Follow
dogs?
up on that one.
Cats.
So how do you wind down after a long, stressful day? Or don't stressful days exist?
I'm hate to admit it, but mindless TV. Like, the more mindless, the better. People always tell me about these wonderful series that are out there. And I'm like, that's effortful. I don't have bandwidth for that.
So do you have some good mindless
Oh,
TV suggestions?
Amazing Race, Big Brother, anything on Home Garden TV that you could just miss half of it and still figure out the answer.
What's your favorite spot on campus?
The courtyard outside of Teacher's Dyer. It's a lovely space, and you can get kind of a big view of big building, but you can see across onto the green space. I think it's a really lovely space on campus.
You get a lot of student traffic there
A
as
lot
well?
of student traffic. So when they did the remodel, it's my understanding, I don't know how many years it's been, but long before I arrived, they put that front door, that atrium on the building, and took 3 buildings and made it one. And so it is the front door of the building. And so that's a lot of fun when I'm out there walking around. I can connect with students, I can grab a tea and have a conversation. But you're right here. I can quickly be at your office, but then I can be right there on the green out in front of Arts and Sciences. And such a lovely view when you're looking both out at campus but back at the building.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was that way when I came here in 2019. So it was
Okay.
longer than that, but I'm not sure when it happened either. So what about a good place to grab a bite to eat on or around campus or even in Cincinnati?
I think that I don't eat that much on campus, frankly, but I love to go down to Over the Rhine, and I'm a big fan of Sacred Beast. That's probably my very favorite place to eat because they have a kind of a broad menu, but narrow, and lots of gluten-free options since I'm a gluten-free girl.
I heard they were going to be on Triple D.
I saw that. I saw Guy Fieri and Big Hair's coming, so that's also one of those shows I could watch. Food Network, same thing.
That's true.
Same difference. If you could describe the College of CECHIT's personality in 3 words, what would they be?
Outstanding, caring, and committed.
I like those.
So what kind of class experience or even outside the classroom experience do you think all students should get a taste of?
Well, I think every student should study off campus, whether that be through hands-on, co-ops, internships, study abroad, or as I like to say, study away, because some students can't leave the country or afford that, but how do we get them off to see somewhere else, either literally studying what they're doing or working in the spaces they're doing, because that really broadens their horizons and prepares them for the future.
And gets them out of their comfort zone.
Gets them out of their comfort zone and tilts their worldview just a little. So I'm certainly trying to increase that across the college.
Yeah, I agree.
Why did you want to serve as dean for the College of CECHIT?
So I tell this story quite a bit. I had a great job in another state, somewhere else. I wasn't really looking to go anywhere, and I got this call, and I'm like, I'm happy. And then they called back, and I said, okay, let me look. And then I started digging in, and I'm like, how do you have a College of Education with criminal justice? And what is human services? I got IT, information technology, but how do those go together? And, started digging in and seeing that it might have happened through happenstance, frankly. But to me, they all go together because you don't have a strong community, a sustainable community, without strong schools. And that's pre-K through, university. Well, we have that through our Arlett Center in early childhood. The School of Ed really represents all of that early childhood through the university. You don't have that without safe communities where you can get out and explore. That's criminal justice. You have to have physical health and mental health. That's human services. They do mental health, exercise science, sport admin, and more. I don't want to forget anything. And then you certainly today, more than ever, have to have access to information and safe access to information. And that's information technology. And so when I started to look at that and then think about the fact that we're here in the heart of Cincinnati, bearing the city's name, but you're really in a tri-state region, and you can be urban, rural, suburban all in 20 minutes. What a laboratory to solve big challenges of the world. And that's what got me excited. That was something unique, to have that research engine, but also that dedicated community partnership. I think we can do some great things. And so that got me really excited. And then I got here and it was all true. When I interviewed, I was like, wow, it's even better than what I thought on paper, truly. And I couldn't say no.
Well, we're glad to have you.
Well, thank you.
So now if you want to rewind back the clock a little bit
Yeah.
and think back of your college days, what
Yeah.
were you like as a student? And did you ever imagine yourself being in a role like this?
Oh, I never imagined I would ever have a role like this. I never imagined myself being a university professor, let alone administrator. As a college student, I think I'm still driven by, how do people solve problems? How do they remember things, problem solve? Why can I do it better in certain spaces than others? Why did I fail in spaces? And so that was really what drove me through college, trying to better understand people, both at the individual level, but at the group level, and how do we get into spaces and learn, solve problems together. And so I think as a college student, I was just out having fun, meeting people. I mean, truthfully, I was just like, everybody was different than me. I wanted to know and understand. And I had a lot of fun in college and exploring those kind of human relationships through psychology and education courses. And then I went, well, what do I do with that? Well, go to graduate school. Some faculty tapped me on the shoulder. And I'll never undervalue the importance of a tap on the shoulder, because it really is. I think you'll find a lot of people got the tap. They said, you should go take this to the next level. So off to graduate school I went, and there I learned a lot about research and understanding of research, and that took me the faculty route. And I was just a happy faculty member, hanging out with students, teaching my courses, doing my work, and somebody tapped me on the shoulder, and off went my leadership journey. So, I think I would never have imagined. I was just happy doing my thing. But now I can't imagine not doing this job, because this is where you really get to shape that student experience, which is what was driving me all along, the students.
Right, yep.
Mm-hmm.
What's a common misconception that you think students have about deans?
I don't think they know who we are or what we do exactly, and that we're a bit scary. I think I had the greatest of fortunes this summer to travel for a week with our students that were studying abroad, education students in South Africa. And the week leading up, they were preparing them that I was joining them midstream, the faculty, and they kept saying the students were so nervous. The dean's coming, like the king is coming or the queen is coming. I don't know what they thought. And then I get there, and after a couple days, and we can get down to the level of actually using my name, not the title. I think that they understood I'm just here to help make sure they have a great experience. And so I think they just don't know the role. And so I spent a lot of time this first year here meeting with every student group out in the halls, in the courtyard as I started the conversation, making sure I can see students and talk to them and make sure they're having a good experience, because this whole institution exists for students. And if we don't put them front and center in everything we do, then why do we exist? So trying to understand their story and make sure they have a good experience, that's my goal.
So you've had a long experience in education, not only as an educator,
Right.
Professor, but just being in higher ed and influencing students. But what have students taught you? You look back over the years, the impact they might have had.
I think what I take every time I talk to a student is just how ridiculously brilliant and curious they are, and that they have unique views on the world, and those views are worth hearing and understanding. And so they've taught me some humility on occasion, more than maybe once or twice. They've challenged me to think different about why we don't do things the way we do. Especially many years ago, I had a student who was getting ready to graduate the university at 16. And we had some rules. You had to be 18 to do things. And, well, why? Well, the why was because we said so. Well, we changed that.
Yeah.
And so I think they've challenged me to really think, what are the roadblocks we as an institution or a college put in the way of our students that don't need to be there? And then at the same time, how can I be always teaching? So I may not be in the classroom every day, but we're always teaching students about why we do things. Right. And every opportunity is an opportunity for growth. And so I think I've learned so much from our students, and I hope that they've learned from me.
What advice would you have for UC students like myself or those at the College of CECHIT?
To get involved. I think that you never forget where you went to college, and it's such a defining moment in your life, amazing opportunity to make friends for life. So get involved, participate in activities, step out of your comfort zone. Even if you're just one person going to an event, it's nerve-wracking, go. You should go. You never know what's going to be that path. I would not be where I am today if I hadn't taken some of those steps. So get out, get involved, participate in what your university has to offer. And this university has so much to offer and a great city to do it in. So get out in Cincinnati.
Yeah,
too.
no excuses. Not
No
to get involved.
excuses to get involved. Really on campus or in the community. Absolutely.
So you began your higher education career at Ball State.
I did.
I believe you were there for about 15 years. Then you moved to Cameron University for 3 years, and then Texas Women's University for almost 7. All before coming to Cincinnati. So what was the biggest challenge in moving from these relatively small universities to quite a large one?
Yeah, I think that the difference really is that the scale at which we can do things. And that's what drew me as much as what I had to adapt to. I'm still adapting to. So, some universities are quite small and you could pick up a phone. There's one person. They'll know everything. That doesn't work here in the same way, but it does work. Those relationships matter. And I think that's what I've learned. The smaller you get, even more valuable the relationships are. So leveraging those up now into a larger institution. But because we are so large, we have many different areas and trying to navigate, well, do I go this to the left or do I go to the right to find the answer, and not being afraid to just say, I don't know, somebody help me get to the next space. But most of that's been exciting because we are so much bigger. We can do things at a scale that we couldn't do at other institutions. Things I dreamed of doing, we're already doing.
Right. And the opportunities.
The opportunities better for the students, better for the faculty, better for the staff. So it's really, everybody here can find a path to success, and our job is to get them on that path, whatever that is for them.
Yep.
As a student, you received your bachelor's degree from Purdue before attending the University of Alabama at Birmingham, UAB, for your master's degree and doctorate. What was the most valuable lesson you learned during that time, and whether in the classroom or not, and how has it impacted you as a dean?
Don't be afraid of your faculty. That is the number one thing I could say. Faculty are humans. They really are. Ask questions. Pay attention to your syllabus or the documents, the website. Pay attention, ask questions. Faculty like that. I think when I figured that out, when I could go knock on a door and they were actually receptive to see me, wow. And then they could help me solve problems. And so I carry that with me now. My door is open when I'm in my office. It's shut, of course, if I have meetings. But come knock on the doors. I encourage our students and our folks to knock on the doors of the people that they want to do, or email them. People like to be reached out to. And when you have an opportunity to talk about their research in particular, you got you an avenue right in the door. So make sure you do that. People like it.
Yeah, office hours are really meant to come to your office.
That's right. Come to your office. And I can't tell you how many wonderful meetings, especially as an undergraduate, a little different in grad school, so I had a lot of meetings, but undergrad, sitting in there with like top faculty that you're opening your textbook. I had paper textbooks. I'm old, but virtual textbooks, and you see the author's name, and that's your faculty member. That's what you get here at the University of Cincinnati. Go talk to them. Like, that's a big deal when you see their works cited. They want to tell you about that, and that'll help you make more connections that are not just for your courses, but for your career.
So you've been a dean at CECHIT for just over a year. What is something that surprised you over that past year and something that you're really proud of?
I think that I haven't been surprised. People have asked me this a few times. I think it's not I didn't know it existed, but it's so much more than I ever expected. It's just how caring and committed all individuals are in the college to helping our students thrive. That is a shared mission for us, and that is a place in which we continually improve and try to do better. But everybody is lined up that we exist for students. And if we don't put that, like I said, front and center, but they do. We had the first embedded mental health counselor. Now we have 2 in our college just for our students that, of course, partners with our university CAPS. We have a social services individual who helps make sure our students have what they need. But then we have faculty really working on their craft and their teaching to ensure that it's, high leverage and makes sense for students. So I think the scale at which we do maybe is what I would say surprises me, but not the work. The work is just beyond what I could have imagined. So I'm really proud when I think back to our barbecue we had just this past week, the carnival that we have for students, the college days, the events we have in the college. They're all about building community and having a strong community, because in partnership we move ourselves forward, and that's really what the college is all about.
Very nice.
In an interview you had before your first day as the Dean of CECHIT, you mentioned your AEIOU, Access, Excellence, Inclusivity, Opportunity, and Unrivaled Success for All. How did you come up with this slogan, and how has it influenced you as you've gone throughout your career?
Well, you got to remember I come from education psychology, so any acronym right up an educator's thing. But it really just helped me put in places the things that I believe in. So I believe that we can have a very high quality, intense education, but create access for people. I want more people who may never have thought about the university as an opportunity to come. That's how we're going to better people's lives. That's our goal. So access is pretty straightforward. Excellence is faculty excellence, excellent programs, excellent student outcomes. That's a given. We must do that. And so really laser focus on that. Inclusivity is also innovation. It's about innovating and thinking different about different ways. The more perspectives you have at the table, the more we can do that. So that's an important piece for me. O is leveraging opportunity. I leveraged one to come here, but it's really about the partnerships with our companies, our community, our nonprofits. How do we take that? Where's that partnership we might do with another college that sets us off? And we've had a lot of success in those opportunities. And together, if you do all those things, you have unrivaled success, both for our students, but also for our faculty and staff. So it's about all of those. And so it just drives over time. I've had to make sense of what drives me, and it's those things. If we're not focused on those things, then that's not somewhere I want to work. And that is something I've absolutely found to be true here at the University of Cincinnati.
Great.
Those are the core values, I think.
Great to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you to the Dean of the College of Education, Criminal Justice, Human Services, and Information Technology, Lisa Huffman, for coming to chat with us today. We hope you had a good time, and we look forward to seeing you around campus. We would also like to thank Jillian as well as Bearcast Media for their support. Talk soon.